I am coming kind of from the business leader side. I know many work in the system technical domain, and hats off to you. Maximo is a very complicated ecosystem. You had mobility, analytics, and all that stuff. It's challenging. So what you do for your companies, matters a lot. So Skookum, we do a lot of infrastructure maintenance in a couple other business lines. Here is one of our sites that I was on for 5 years at Naval Air Station Whidbey Island. Cool aircraft flying around north of Seattle. And this is where Maximo is really a good fit. Utilities, facilities, fleet. And our customers really want to know, okay, you're maintaining it, that's great. How are you extending its life, reliability, and show me some analytics on, do we repair, replace that pump, compressor, asset management. So I'm going to talk to that and why it's so critical to have mobility in play. And would like to make a shameless plug for the mobility user group. I think our fearless leader, Janie Mann, is online. We're looking for presentations at future events, so please volunteer. So Skookum, we are actually a nonprofit. We hire folks with disability. These could be ex-military or tradespersons that have some type of disability. We do leverage technology quite a bit. This company was into mobility back in 2013. We put a lot of focus on it. It is hard, but it has a big payback. And we're going to talk about that. So GAO, Government Accounting Office, came out with a study, this is 2018, looking at how federal agencies are doing asset management under the ISO 55000 standard, and found a major flaw, quality data. A lot of installations, companies don't have very good asset information. Some don't even have a good inventory. So how are you going to make repair versus replace decisions and that kind of stuff? You can't capture that data from technicians with paper, in my opinion, and you can't afford to bring in a third party every 4 or 5 years to do a 2 million wall-to-wall asset inventory. So why not leverage maximum mobility? And unfortunately, it gets overhyped. Hey, it's going to solve every problem. It's easy. No problems. The reality, and we've experienced all of these. I won't name these off, but I circled some of the ones came out when we deployed at Whidbey. But yeah, it's a challenge. And at the end of the day, the technician decides whether it's working or not. And if you got slow performance or a glitch in an application, that can be a single data point that he or she takes forward going, okay, it doesn't work. And then you have to regain their trust. When we did deploy live with the new team, most of which never did mobility, our metric was how many smashed iPads. We didn't have any, so that was good. So it's really important to get executive sponsorship. And if you're, like in our domain, doing maintenance contracting, getting the client support, you have to show payback, whether it's wrench time savings, better quality data for analytics, saving on a third-party inspection. But at the end of the day, for us, it's $5,000 for the hardware, software, and training to outfit a technician. That's not cheap. And if it fails and becomes a paperweight, that's bad. Piloting and improving it at say a flagship site is very important. Take some of that brain trust to the next site. We do enlist a champion in our large shops who's more technically savvy, who we work with directly on improvements and fixes, and we expect them to help others in their shop. Managers should be required to understand mobility and not just, oh, that's a technology thing. No, you need to know it because your field processes are on that thing. And then you really got to get the blocking and tackling done, get the core capability out, and then you can start doing the fancier stuff, some of which are a little more complicated, but you got to sell and prove it to all your shops and technicians. So here's an example of core. You know, when we went live at Whidbey, you know, was a paper-based system. So here's Jason, our former fire system lead, really smart guy. But hey, here's your PM work order. Go find asset data in our paper library if you can find it. If you want to sign text or get additional support or follow up work order, more paper, PRs, paper. And for us trying to send, hey, where's that fire system stand from a condition and history standpoint? You can't do it. So you had managers digging out paper to figure out, okay, this client needs a report, and it's just ridiculous. So mobility, you know, the way we deployed it, and this did take a couple of years to get it right. Jason gets an annual PM. He can zap the QR tag, get information about the asset, including linked documents, which we run off OneDrive. He can assign techs not in his shop, but are needed to support. All techs who work on that project have to put in a comment. And all of our pay comes out of here. So the stick approach, hey, Maximo should be your friend because you're going to get paid the right wage rate, but you got to put in notes so the client can see those eventually. He can assign, you know, another shop to do a task, if you will, and then follow-up work orders. They have the authority to do that, put in a PR, get an alert when they're received. So this was kind of the core. Okay, if we can get that working and the techs say, that, yeah, this is good, then we're ready to do other things. But now we have all that in a central database, and you know, we can do all this other things without hand jamming. And you know, we're big into the analytics side, so that's all important. And then getting that information to our customer and their system so they can run their own analytics is important. So that did take us a couple years, and then we looked at some processes that mattered beyond that. One has always been a challenge. Hey, we built a new drone control facility. Here's a big box of O&M manuals and data. Shove it in a library. Eventually, yeah, we'll digitize it, but it's going to take us a long time. So the tech's like, hey, where is that information? Because I got to start maintaining that next week. So this is a lot more functional, but you know, for us, we need to be involved with the design side, find issues, fix them before it gets to construction. We need to be at the acceptance testing. And we also need to ensure, in this case, the Navy captures quality data from the construction contractor, which is in the spec. A lot of them like to throw some poor quality data and run. You know, Navy's been very good at enforcing that. And then we digitize that, you know, separate PDFs, put them on OneDrive, and then load asset registries. Now the techs have that available. Put a simple link on an asset that jumps to OneDrive where they can see the documents. This is kind of the poor man's BIM, or building information modeling, which is very expensive. We actually saw that from Grifols back in a few conferences ago. So that's the spiel. Bottom line, mobility is a game changer. You know, for us kind of old timers, you know, Maximo integrated all those desktop apps, work management, purchasing, inventory. There's a lot of field processes that need to be integrated beyond work management. So it's a journey. You got to get sponsorship, you got to get buy-in, but it's worth the quest. That's all I got. Any questions?
All right. So thanks, Scott. That was really interesting. I guess a couple of questions as follow-up. I love the metric of the number of smashed iPads. That's a fantastic way to measure things, and funny, but also there's some truth to that. We've often joked about how many mobile devices get inexplainably run over by a utility truck or something in their life. But what are some of the other, just what would you consider the number one success indicator of the mobility program?
I would say, I'm going to give you three. One, internally improved wrench time, meaning technician efficiency.
Mhm.
So we have to be efficient. I mean, we are competing to win a contract, and we actually compete first commercially and then under Ability One with other Ability One contractors. So that's important. The second one, well, I'll say there's just two. Second one is getting that quality data from the tech that's supplemented with other information and making that available to us internally to make better decisions as well as our customers.
Yeah,
And,
yeah. I mean, the quality data is so huge. I mean, you're just never going to get any better data than the guy in the field that's looking at the asset, collecting it at that moment in time, rather than things that are written down and rekeyed later and or not keyed at all often. So good stuff. Thank you for sharing that. That was really interesting, and we appreciate your time.
thank you. Appreciate it.